Hello and welcome to Nationwide, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Lami Ali. You're welcome. You can follow this new broadcast live on our website, nca.ng/live, and on YouTube channel, NCA News Online. Twitter handle is at NCA News Now. You can also visit our Facebook page on NCA Network News and Instagram, NCA Network for updates. We begin with political parties. The All Progressives Congress Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee has reaffirmed its position that there is no change in leadership. Governor MUHAMMADU remains the chairman of the Caretaker Committee. The youth representative of the Caretaker Committee, Ismail Ahmed, at a media briefing as the BUHARI House said Zonal Congress and National Convention will both hold on the 26th March 2022.
Governor Abubakar Sani Bello is acting with the full authority of the Caretaker Committee and with the full authority of the stakeholders and leaders of the party and with the full consent and knowledge of Governor MUHAMMADU. It's very clear and very simple.
Having clarified issues surrounding the leadership of the party, Ismail Ahmed gave a summary of the activities of the party under the supervision of its acting national chairman and governor of Niger State, Abubakar Sani Bello.
The Caretaker Committee shared responsibilities and specific responsibilities to each member of the Caretaker Committee. The purpose is to ensure speedy execution of the various activities leading to the National Convention. So that was what we did. And I was tasked with the responsibility for media and publicity.
He said March 26th date for National Convention is sacrosanct.
But ultimately, the election for the zonal offices would be done at the National Convention as well.
He appealed to party faithful not to overheat the polity as the internal peace-building mechanism of the party is in progress to address any emerging challenges. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has urged the newly installed Olubadan to bring to bear his wealth of experience in preserving history and cultural heritage of Ibadan land for growth and developments of the people. This was as the presentation of staff and instrument of office to the new Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Moshood Olalekan Balogun Ishola, by the Oyo State Governor, Seyi Makinde.
I hereby presents the staff of office to the 42nd Olubadan of Ibadan land.
Oba Moshood Olalekan Balogun Ishola is the 42nd Olubadan of Ibadan land. And we move to the National Assembly. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, says amendments of the Nigerian Immigration and Prisons Governing Board Act is to enable inclusion of civil defense and the Federal Fire Service. The aim, he added, is to align the functions and structure of the organizations. The minister was speaking at a briefing with the leadership of the House of Representatives. This meeting is in respect of an executive bill seeking amendments to the Nigeria Immigration Service and the Prison Service Governing Board to bring the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps and the Federal Fire Service under the purview of the board to conform with related laws and practices. The bill covers matters of promotion, discipline and regulations. House leader and chairman of some relevant committees sought explanation on some provisions of the proposed amendments.
Have you really observed and reflected the cost implication when government is crying about money, funding, and you are creating 4 more offices of commissioners?
Why should you lump these huge institutions into one? Why can't you separate them?
This simplifies and unifies appointment, promotion, and discipline. of officers in the core and services, bringing them in line with structure and practice by similar agencies such as the Public Service Commission.
Meanwhile, member representing Afikpo North, Afikpo South Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Igariwe Iduma, who was endorsed by the People's Democratic Party as its choice for governor of Ebonyi State, following the Federal High Court judgment, has briefed the press on this development.
I and my deputy would like to thank our great party, the PDP, and our stakeholders from Ebonyi State for the honor of submitting our names to INEC. Security agencies, the police, DSS, the NSCDC are urged to secure the state by protecting lives and property, and this includes government property and assets.
He urged civil servants and citizens of the state to remain peaceful. In the National Youth Service Corps Trust Fund Bill before the National Assembly is part of efforts to better the lives of young Nigerians seeking to serve the nation. Chairman House Committee on Youth Development, MUHAMMADU, said this during an oversight to the Kaduna State NYSC orientation camp. National Assembly correspondent Dayo Ogunshola reports.
This is another outing by the House Committee on Youth Development in the discharge of its mandate to ensure welfare of core members. The chairman of the committee expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the core members and stated National Assembly's commitment to facilitating an enabling environment for the scheme to excel. This, is said, is the thrust of the NYSC bill before the National Assembly.
What that bill emphasis now is that when you are going out, when you are graduating, you are exiting NYSC, that you can accept forms which can make you to stand on your own. The NYSC will give you the tool to go out there and establish yourself. And by the grace of God, before you graduate, before you get to that level, that was what have been become a reality.
We hope that what is in the offering, which is particularly the NYSC Trust Fund, we hope it will be realized so that it will be for the benefit of humanity and to the glory of God.
The committee encouraged the young Nigerians to keep faith in the nation and play their role. In Abuja, Dayo Ogunshola, NTA News.
Now, a seminar to facilitate Nigeria joining countries with legislations that have positive impact on citizens has held in Abuja. John Yaku reports that organizers of the event, NAILS and Westminster Foundation for Democracy, are focusing on strengthening the impacts of laws in Nigeria through post-legislative scrutiny.
Legislations made without implementation are said not to impact the lives of citizens. Oversight by the legislature to ensure compliance is also said not to be enough to monitor and ensure effective implementation for the benefit of the target group, such as people living with disabilities.
That accessibility to public buildings. That public building owners must restructure their buildings to give access to benefit with disabilities, particularly with their users.
That is what needs, and Westminster Foundation for Democracy is working to institutionalize post-legislative scrutiny as practiced globally.
It is important to state that as CLS continues on its evolution and institutionalization within parliaments around the globe, Nigeria cannot be left out in this process.
Now, the role of the National and State Assembly is very important because they are representing the people.
Parliament is working toward strengthening good democratic governance and the rule of law in Nigeria.
It is also available for lawmakers to see if there have been unintended consequences in the course of implementing whatever law that might have been passed, so that we can test them to address those consequences.
What is left for the state assemblies to be given further enlightenment on what PLS is all about?
Achieving legislation that will identify failures and improve implementations is expected in the near future. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
And away from legislative matters, the federal government says it is strongly determined towards closing the housing deficit through the sustenance of the National Housing Program, which has provided 3,000 housing units since 2016. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, represented President Buhari as the inauguration of 68 housing units in Isele, close to Asaba, the Delta State capital. Austin Edemodu reports that some members of the 1994 African Cup of Nations winning Super Eagles were offered choice apartments in their state.
These are the finished products of the Phase 1 of the National Housing Scheme, Iselazaba in Delta State. 24 units of 2-bedroom bungalows, 16 3-bedroom bungalows, and 24 units of condominiums, ranging from 1 to 4 bedrooms. All basic amenities are equally available in the housing estate. The inauguration of these housing units by President Buhari, represented by the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has made more houses available to Nigerians. Some of these houses, at the same time, have been allocated to members of the 1994 African Cup of Nations victorious team, as promised by the government.
Our desire and our commitment towards improving the human condition and our message of change have another facet beyond job creation. It responds to those who have long aspired to own a home, and that dream has now come true.
To ensure that the low-income earners have the chance of being allocated any of these flats, the government says National Housing Portal will drive the process of allocation.
By adding this value to our community, to the Nigerian housing needs, we deserve high commendation.
Which makes it necessary for corporate organizations to complement government effort in providing affordable houses.
Phase 1 and 3 of the scheme are ongoing in Delta State, while similar inauguration of completed units of the housing program are also being carried out across 34 states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. I'm Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
123 Nigerians are back home from Ukraine in the early Friday flight. The latest returnees are mostly students who took refuge in Poland as a result of the war in Ukraine. Usman Aliu reports.
Chartered flight hired by the federal government landed in Abuja almost 2 a.m. Government officials received the returnees at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. They were assured of adequate care and support.
The federal government of Nigeria, of course, through the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and other able agencies, is going to provide you with $100 each for your welcoming this morning. After that, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission is also going to provide you with free SIM cards with 5,000 naira loaded on all of them. In order, the idea here is to ensure your happiness.
The documentation on arrival as obtained in the procedure have been conducted in such a manner that made it easier for both the returnees and the officials handling the exercise. There was free COVID-19 test also. While narrating their ordeal, the returnees appreciated the federal government on its effort and concern it demonstrated by ensuring their protection and making their return peacefully coordinated.
First, I'm happy I'm back home safely. I mean, after spending 4 days on the border of Poland, so it wasn't easy for me to cross.
It was quite serious, the war entirely, because I was back in the city when the whole thing started. But we were able to leave the city and try to move to another country safely.
When people had gone, we saw that people had gone, and then it was just us. We were seeing our neighbors, everybody, no cars, nothing. It was really scary.
So far, almost 2,000 Nigerians who fled Ukraine and take shelter in the neighboring countries are brought back home. Usman Aliu, NTA News.
We now go to Lagos to join our Deola in our Lagos studio for the continuation of Nationwide. Hello, Deola.
Hello, Lami.
Andrew Nice, the BRT driver suspected to have killed a passenger, 22-year-old Bamishi Ayanwole, has been arraigned before a magistrate court in Lagos. Andrew was arraigned before Justice Selau on a 4-count charge bordering on murder, sexual offense, and interference with Bamishi's corpse. He was alleged to have committed the offense with others still at large. The alleged offenses are in contravention of Section 260 of the Lagos State Criminal Laws. The accused pleaded not guilty to all the charges preferred against him. His arraignment was witnessed by a large crowd who came to put a face to the name of the suspect. In the meantime, the police has obtained a remand order from the court following an application brought before the court to that effect. The order gives the police leave to keep the suspect in custody pending conclusion of investigation into the crime. While noting that the journey to justice for Bamishe is still far, counsel to the family, Ayo Ademiluyi, called on Lagos Bus Services to release the particular BRT bus used in committing the crime to the police for forensic investigation. And not done with police matters, rather than engage in unhealthy rivalry and competition, security agencies in the country must strive to present a common front against criminals by complementing one another through effective synergy. This is the message that the Lagos State Commissioner of Police took to heads of security agencies in the state during a familiarization tour. Adeniyi Taiwo completes the reports.
As the lead agency in the internal security of the country, the Nigerian police is always in the spotlight whenever crime fighting is required. This familiarization visit by the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Abiodun Alabi, to some heads of security agencies in the state has a central objective, and that is to strengthen the fraternity of crime fighters to achieve better security in the state. His interaction with the state commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Eweka Okoro, centered around the need to have platforms where operatives across the agencies can interface and achieve better synergy.
Criminal people should know that this time it is no longer business as usual. With the cooperation occurring with us, sky is the limit, and we will all nap all of them down.
The police chief was also at the office of the Federal Safety Corps, where the sector commander Olusegun Ogungbemide took him on a tour of operational areas, including the licensing office. During their engagement, they agreed to strengthen and leverage their existing relationship, while also working to spread rapport among junior officers.
Policing is not done alone. All of you are aware that in the course of interagency collaboration, we share intelligence, we share information. We have this relationship that we believe that you can make our job easier in terms of information sharing, intelligence sharing.
Election is coming. Yes. You are the sole custodian of that responsibility. When you beckon on us to come and do the needful, we'll always be willing to be there.
Since he assumed office as the 37th Commissioner of Police in Lagos State in January this year, CP Abiodun Alabi has, in line with his promise, worked to deepen visibility and community policing in the state. In Lagos, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
As the world gradually heaves a sigh of relief from the devastating effect of COVID-19 pandemic on livelihoods, the World Bank is working with the federal government to implement COVID-19 Action, Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program across states and the Federation. Musa Toliat reports.
The outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 placed the global economy on the edge and created vulnerable population in countries across the world. As a follow-up to the NG Cares launched by the federal government in 2021, the World Bank Support Mission Team is in Nigeria to implement the COVID-19 Action, Recovery and Economic Stimulus Program in states across the Federation.
The other aspect that came now was the economic part, and that is the essence of why we are here. To give stimulus to every economic activity that was affected by the COVID pandemic.
The approach that has been adopted for this support is actually a performance-based financing approach.
The implementation of NGKS focuses on 11 intervention areas based on the peculiarities of individual states.
We'll be intervening in agriculture programs. We'll be training people in farming skills and in managing their farming businesses.
More than $700 million have been earmarked by the World Bank to implement Nigeria's multi-sectoral NGKS, designed to provide emergency relief to smallholder farmers and MSMEs, especially those negatively impacted by COVID-19 pandemic. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTA News.
And that's a contribution from Lagos. Nana Aisha in Sokoto is next after this break. But remember, you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on YouTube at NTA News Online. Our Facebook page is at NTA Network News, while our Twitter handle is at NTA News Now. And don't forget our Instagram page is at NTA Network for updates. To stay with us.
The Nigerian aviation sector is rapidly growing with the construction of new international airport terminals in several regions of the country. The new Murtala Mohammed International Airport has an estimated passenger increase of 30 million annually and 15 million for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is also expected to open new frontiers for the region with more travel capacity for the annual Hajj, while the new Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, avails more business opportunities connecting the industrial cities in the region to the world. These new terminals beat world-class standards with enabling infrastructure that aid air travel, tourism, and the eventual growth of the country's GDP.
Open up commerce and, of course, link us to international societies.
People from international community will come here to do business, and then that will bring in more revenue to the states.
Now, distances can be seamlessly covered as Nigeria keeps raising its bar to suit global infrastructure standards.
Proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Computer appreciation for media practitioners. Date 21st February to 28th February 2022. 1 week. English grammar and pronunciation for broadcasters. Date 1st March to 25th March. 4 weeks. Administrative principles, processes and practices. Date 11th March to 31st March 2022. 4 weeks. Modern trends in broadcast media marketing. Date 14th March to 13th April 2022. 4 weeks. Basic broadcast accounting and auditing. Date 4th April to 19th April 2022. 2 weeks. The course fee for the 1 week courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, training you to be the best you want to be.
All the thrills and all the action on Nigeria's biggest dance reality show. Glow Battle of the Year is on NTA every Sunday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Liverpool look to keep up the pressure on Manchester City when they take on Brighton, who are still smarting from a loss to Newcastle United. This Saturday, it's Brighton and Hove Albion versus Liverpool on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 1 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu, empowered by Integral.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sokoto. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol has described the recent banditry attacks in some parts of Kebbi State as unfortunate and condemnable. Tambol made the remarks while on a condolence visit to the government of Kebbi State over the loss of lives as a result of banditry attacks in the state. Dalhatu Abdullahi has the report.
The recent banditry attacks in Kebbi State include the killing of some vigilante members in Majuju village of Sakaba local government and face-off between the bandits and the security convoy attached to the Kebbi State Deputy Governor last Tuesday night around Kanya village in Danko Wasagu local government, which also claimed some lives. Condoling with the government and the people of Kebbi State, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol enjoined people of Kebbi State to see the attacks as destined by Allah and offer maximum support to the governor in his effort at ensuring peace in the state, while praying for Allah's intervention against a future occurrence and the repose of the souls of the deceased Turnbull noted that the governors of the Northwest Geopolitical Zone will continue to work closely with the federal government and security operatives to bring to an end banditry and other criminalities in the zone.
In matters of security, we must not introduce politics. We must all work together. There is no political differences, no religious differences.
Turnbull also pledged a donation of 30 million naira in aid of the families of those who lost their lives in the attacks. Kebbi State Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu thanked Governor Turnbull for his love and a show of concern on the plight of the people of the state. He also described the security challenges in the state as frustrating and a big crime, which call for support and encouragement to security operatives for their supreme sacrifices. In Sakwato, Dalhat Abdullahi, NTA News.
Ahead of the 2023 general elections, INEC in Kebbi State has convened a stakeholder meeting to strategize towards recording a seamless exercise. Abdul Muhammad Bawa reports that the meeting had the media, security operatives, political parties, and non-governmental organizations as participants.
The 2023 general election is fast approaching, and available data shows that only 70,233 eligible voters have so far been registered by INEC, indicating that an average 8 to 9 persons registered per polling unit. To rapidly check the ugly trend, the Election Empire convened the forum to update those in attendance on the journey so far. The resident electoral commissioner, Ahmad Bello Mahmoud, used the forum to make a special appeal to politicians to mobilize their members to have their registration updated if the need be, and as well avail themselves location of new polling units created.
You need to mobilize your people, particularly the political parties. We are doing this exercise for you, for the good people of Kebbi State.
Some of the stakeholders comment on the forum.
We have a civic responsibility to work hand in hand with the INEC to see how we can turn around and ensure that the registrants in Kebbi State has massively come out and use the opportunity to register.
Registration is your right. You just go and register. If on election date a candidate was filed that meet up your requirement as to lead you, just go and vote.
And the trend that we are giving here, we are going to take it and explain to the people who are not here.
Highlight of the occasion was questions and answer session, where heads of affected departments responded. In Birnin Kebbi, Abdul Muhammad Ba, NTA News.
Well, that's our contribution. But before we go, you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and our YouTube channel, NTA News Online. And you can also follow our Twitter handle, NTA News Now, at NTA News Now, and our Facebook page, NTA Network News, and Instagram, NTA Network, for updates. That's it for us here. We hand over nationwide back to Lami in Abuja.
Thank you, Nana Aisha. And still on politics, Alliance of Northern Progressive Youths, a political support group, has pledged to embrace a transparent exercise that will produce a credible national chairman of the All Progressives Congress as the forthcoming national convention. Salih Gonore reports that more groups are also desirous of an elective national executive that will sustain the winning streak of the APC.
Since the pronouncement of March 26, 2022 as the date for the APC National Convention, various political interest groups and individuals within the APC are building strategy and mobilizing support. It is in this spirit that the Alliance of Northern Progressive Youth reacted to the APC's zoning of the national chairmanship to the North Central Geopolitical Zone.
Therefore, as the party gets set for the national convention slated for March 26, with Al-Makura indicating interest to lead the party as its national chairman, most analysts believe he is a round peg in a round hole, and his emergence will be a reward for loyalty, hard work, competency, and ensure justice, equity, and fairness.
Similarly, Forum of former members of the APC National Working Committee wants stakeholders of the party to identify and entrust the affairs of APC to those with progressive spirit and ideology.
We therefore advocate for the election of a leadership that will return the party to its core values.
The group pledged to remain resolute as critical partners in propagating the activities of APC-led government. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
Voter apathy remains one out of many concerns in the nation's electoral process. With the new electoral law now in place, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) is expected to explore concepts that will boost public participation in the electoral process. Timothy Yusuf reports.
As the 2023 general elections draw closer, interventions geared towards deepening the democratic practices have begun. One of such interventions is this meeting galvanized by a civil society organization under the auspices of Citizen Intervention and Accountability Network with the Independent National Electoral Commission.
A lot of people don't believe in the system, even based on the fact that you are doing a great job. There are voter apathy, and it's an impending issue that needs to be addressed.
INEC National Commissioner Professor Kunle Ajayi shared his thoughts, positing that for the electoral process to be successful, all component stakeholders must be brought together towards deepening the integrity of elections and its processes.
It is the duty of INEC to engage in voter education. But it's not the duty of INEC to push you to go and vote. That is the duty of political parties and civil society groups.
The meeting unanimously agreed that the integrity of the election management by the INEC has greatly improved over the years and should be supported by all well-meaning citizens. Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
And in the spirit of global recognition of women participation in nation building, ECOWAS Parliament is promoting the participation of women in politics and governance. Onengie Fineface reports.
Nigeria is among African countries that belong to the United Nations and is signatory to relevant international treaties and conventions. These treaties signed by the Nigerian government have placed emphasis that member nations put in place necessary mechanisms needed to eliminate gender discriminations, ensure equality and human dignity to all, irrespective of gender. However, available statistics shows that out of 109 senators in the National Assembly, only 9 are women, while 27 out of 360 members of the House of Representatives are women. The picture above depicts women are obviously marginalized, regardless of the national gender policy formulated in 2006 to promote a 35% affirmative action for women. With the recent action by the National Assembly, women in Akwa Ibom State engaged in a walk around Uyo Metropolis and terminated at the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly with placards bearing inscriptions such as "Break the Bias," advocate for inclusion in policy formation to enhance national development.
A wake-up call from the United Nations for all those concerned to review their prevalent philosophies and attitudes towards women.
When a woman marries a man into this country, Section 26 of the Constitution does not give that equal opportunity for her spouse to become a citizen.
We need the economical bias to be broken.
It is the hope of the women that the submissions given to the State House of Assembly will yield positive results. In Uyo, Emediomo, NTA News.
We apologize for the mix-up. That report was actually on the 35% women affirmative action on gender equality from Akwa Ibom State. We now go to our previous promoted report. In the spirit of global recognition of women as partners in nation building, ECOWAS Parliament is promoting the participation of women in politics and governance. Onengie Fineface reports.
Because it's actually been my dream, to become a minister.
Elisa Blackie, 24, is a student of nursing in Liberia, desirous of becoming a cabinet minister in her country, but not getting the support to achieve this dream.
You have to create avenue in your community, the carrying on project to, encourage those people that you want them to vote for you, and getting the finances is kind of tied up because nobody willing to help.
Walking into this hall, Elisa hopes to share her dreams with female lawmakers and get the needed inspiration and information to pursue her dream. It is the 5th edition of ECOWAS Female Parliamentarians Town Hall Meeting, a meeting organized to celebrate women, but of more importance, to motivate them to take their place in leadership.
To shatter fear and unlock potential of our young girls and boys, serving as an inspiration for them to join politics and in multi-levels of decision making.
We must put young people first if we are to connect the demographic sphere.
It is absolutely necessary to institutionalize rapidly a platform for expression and capacity building that will give the youth all the opportunities, open to the youth all opportunities.
Surely this event will come to an end, but the question remains, will Elisa and other women in this hall find the needed support to achieve their political ambition? Onengiye Fine Face, NT News.
And from Liberia, we go to Imo, where commuters and other users of premium motor spirits, PMS, also known as petrol, are lamenting the persistent hike in price of the product, which has adversely affected the cost of transportation and other means of livelihood. Bright Abuja, who has been monitoring the situation in Owerri, the Imo State capital, brings us the details.
A drive to some parts of Owerri, the Imo State capital, by NTA News reveals that while some filling stations were locked for not having the product, others were selling between 195 and 250 naira per litre, above the federal government approved pump price of 165 naira per litre.
Like I told before, our target drivers have lived for Port Harcourt for almost a week plus now. They are not done because there are no products I can get there. So and also we limit the quantity we sell out.
Some motorists lament the disparities in the pump price.
Some people they say 175. Some people they say 300.
Cost is too much on us. It's affecting virtually everything in the market now. We are suffering.
It's not easy for me. Like since morning I've been there for line. Up to now, I never get fuel.
Motorists say they are optimistic that with the steps put in place to address the issue by the federal government, the scarcity and hike in the price of the product will soon become a thing of the past. In Owerri, Bright Abuja, NTA News.
For more reports on Nationwide, Ugochukwu is standing by in our Benin Network Center. Hello, Ugochukwu, it's over to you.
Hello, Lami. Thank you for joining us. 4 trucks loaded with substance suspected to be diesel have been impounded by operatives of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Edo State Command. The command also has in its custody a 3-man gang that specializes in stealing of phones and selling them to unsuspecting members of the public. They were paraded before newsmen in Benin City. Goodluck Enaini reports.
The suspects, whose age are between 20 and 26, were apprehended following a tip-off at the Ekenwa axis of the metropolis while moving the trucks containing the product to their destination. The state commandant, Aniken Udweyop, is confident of the command's ability to checkmate activities of those he termed as die-hard criminals causing harm to the nation's economy.
So those who are spoiling the economy of this nation, sabotaging it, doing all manners of things with the oil, they should look for genuine means of livelihood, because the law would have its full costs on them.
Similarly, a 3-member phone stealing gang was also paraded when the phone they stole in Benin was recovered after 8 months. The suspect, who will be charged to court after investigations, explained their level of involvement.
Now my friend load down, not away from load down.
Me not know the place, you go to carry load, you go just tell me some wait for there. If you reach Mess Lodge, if you carry the load, the car. Now that place I go enter motor.
This one make 2 times when I don't go to work.
Mr. Udweyop, who is happy with the cooperation so far received from the people of Edo State, sued for sustainability in order to reduce the rate in Edo and the entire country. In Benin, Goodluck Inaini, NT News.
The Deji of Akure Kingdom, Oba Alade Toyimbo Ogunlade Alade Lucy, is synergizing with the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Akure, on ways to further entrench peaceful coexistence through credible dissemination of information. The palace and the broadcast outfit reached a truce at the forum in Akure. Toyin Batire reports.
The Deji of Akure, Aladetoyinbo Aladelusi, while reiterating the importance of traditional broadcasting over social media, notes that NTA for him remains one of the best television stations in Nigeria. The monarch lost the management of NTA for promoting women into leadership positions and wishes the management of NTA Akure under the leadership of the general manager, Mrs. Olubumi Oke, a fruitful and rewarding tenure.
If I don't hear radio television stations or newspapers, I normally don't believe any news because it's a lot of fake news. And it's very hard to an NTA to carry fake news.
The general manager of NTA Akure, Mrs. Olubumi Oke, who commends the leadership traits of the monarch, appreciates the peace that exists in Akure and the peaceful coexistence among the people, which by extension the station is benefiting from.
The purpose of this visit is to give the Kabiyesi the assurance of the management of NTA Akure to support the palace, the Kabiyesi, to sustain peace in Akure and environs.
The visit is part of the familiarization tour of the new general manager in Akure. Toyin Batire, NTA News.
And the news continues now with a commercial outing. Thereafter, Amina will be coming up with more reports from Kaduna. Please stay tuned.
About the greatest assets the country has at the moment, it is therefore not surprising that the administration of President MUHAMMADU Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths.
Candidates who are interested in gaining admission into NTA Television College Jos for the 2021-2022 two-year National Innovation Diploma Program are to apply for admission through the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB. The courses available for application include film and television production, broadcast journalism, and television engineering technology. Such candidates must have a minimum of 5 O-level credits in relevant subjects including English language and mathematics. For more information, please contact NTA Television College, Jos, or the marketing department of any NTA station nationwide. Registrar, Announcer.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Liverpool look to keep up the pressure on Manchester City when they take on Brighton, who are still smarting from a loss to Newcastle United. This Saturday, it's Brighton and Hove Albion versus Liverpool on the Premier League Live.